Hey fans, we're at the Clubhouse by Gateway Golf for Troops Trio episode number 2, brought to you by SI Ticketing and Happy Dad. Let's go on inside and check it out. Follow me. Let's go. Come on. There's people in here. Let's go. And woo, let's go. And to our host, Matt Sookram.
Thank you, AJ, and welcome to Troops Trio, brought to you by SI Tickets and Happy Dad Beverages, and proudly sponsored by the City of North Bay, the Fox Fiddle, the Boat North Bay, the Moose Cookhouse, and the Clubhouse at Gateway Golf, where we are, myself, Matthew Sookram, alongside Bob Coles and Ranjan Rupal. So happy to be at one of our live sponsor events. We told you we were taking this show on the road this season, and here we are for the first time, live and out in the community. So excited to be here, guys, as the Battalion get their season underway, and we are out and about in the community.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Great location. If you want to work on your golf game, just get out here, and get some good shots in. And, it's just a great atmosphere here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Gateway Golf, it's fun. I'm just wondering which hole that is, if that's like a real hole or not, but I think it is. But, just A1 facility here.
Absolutely. Like I said, the Battalion have gotten their season underway, off to a good start, 2-0. They beat the Generals, they beat the Wolves. What are you guys' takeaways from the first couple of games as the Battalion get their feet wet in the 25-26 season?
Well, the first week's really interesting because they started it a week earlier. So a lot of the guys, a lot of the teams didn't have some of their top players, and they were at NHL camp. So, and in the Battalion case, there were 4 players who were away at NHL camps when they played Oshawa and Sudbury last week, games they won. And I was impressed with how the young players really came to play, along with some of the veterans. They were both entertaining games. Their first road game for these young guys, you didn't know what to expect, but they really put on a great defensive effort, I thought, on Friday in Sudbury after winning their home opener. And then, of course, came away with the win in overtime. So it was just it was a fantastic start to the year.
Yeah, it was a 4-2 win over the Generals at home, a 4-3 overtime win over the Wolves. Ranjan, what were your first takeaways? You were there for both the games. You made the trip to Sudbury.
Yeah, I did. But, the first thing I want to say is that we had just a fantastic crowd in that home game against Oshawa. And no better way to start it out than having one of the bright stars of the future, Jax Pereira, open the scoring with a beautiful goal. And that really set the tone for the game. I think Oshawa was a little bit reeling as a result of letting in that early strike by Pereira. And then we saw some of the other players chip in as well. And I think it was a good effort. There's always going to be nerves in the first game. And then turning the page to the next game, we saw Sudbury in the preseason, and they played us tough. And they started a 16-year-old goalie, Leonard, in net. He was very good for Sudbury, but I think if you talk about time of possession on the ice, North Bay dominated that game as well.
Absolutely. Like we said, 4-2 win over the Generals on opening night, 4-3 win over the Wolves. Some of the early point leaders, you look at Ryder Cowley, he had 2 goals, both of those coming in the Sudbury game. Ryder Carey has 2 goals as well. Brent Harper has a goal and an assist. And I think you're going to see that throughout the season is the scoring is going to be by committee, and I think that's already showing the level of depth that this team has, and that's without the 4 guys that are still away at camps. Now, some of them are coming back and should be in action this coming weekend, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But really, I think the depth of this team is really going to be a key for them, because we already saw that they're going to attack you in waves. And I think that is going to be their key focus for much of this season, is that they are going to be able to roll 4 lines and get production out of 4 lines.
Yeah, I agree that you don't get that drop off, right? You get, like you say, in waves, you get, no matter what line's on the ice, the next line's going to come out, and they're going to continue that pressure in the offensive zone to continue to put pressure on the other team's D. And then when the other team you're playing, and they have the puck in your zone, you work hard to get the puck out, obviously. And I thought the goaltending was really good in both games. Mike McIvor sort of expected because he's played so well ever since he's put on a Battalion jersey. And Charlie LaRock was solid Friday night in Sudbury, a road game. Didn't face as much rubber, but I thought he was very solid. Made some big saves when Sudbury was putting on some pressure. So yeah, they're going to be a tough team to play against.
And you already mentioned his name. I guess we should mention we will have Mike McIvor on the show coming up in just a little bit. He will be our guest tonight on Troops Trio. But Ranjan, like I said to Bob, the depth was there. It's evident that they have lines that can produce. What's your takeaway on that?
Yeah, so for the first 2 games, they have 11 forwards and 7 D. And if you talk to any forward anywhere, they love when they go with 11. And that enables a situation where a guy like Ryder Cali can drop onto the 4th line, do his shift, and you saw just that explosive goal against Sudbury. Really, he took advantage of the situation against the other team's 4th line, goes the length of the ice. So just a beautiful highlight reel goal there. Now, when the big boys are, I guess they're going to be back in town real soon. Procession, Moses, Amadovsky, Bronson Ride, they're going to be back. And so we're going to have to see, probably going to have the traditional 12 forwards and 6D. But I think the depth is there. And that's the progression. You want to see your 16-year-olds when they become 17 take the next step. Your 17-year-olds when they become 18 take the next step. In this league, it has to happen. And the early results are that it is happening.
All right, like we said, we are at Gateway Golf, and we had a chance to catch up with Jill, the owner, and she had a chance to talk with our very own AJ. Let's go and hear what they had to say right now.
Hey, Troops fan, we are at the Clubhouse by Gateway Golf. I'm with the owner, Jill. Jill, what are you guys doing here?
We are a indoor golf bar and restaurant. So we have 4 high-definition golf simulators, one of them behind me here. You can do a magnitude of things on these things, from driving range to course play to an arcade simulator. We also have the full bar and the restaurant. So we do birthday parties and just about anything.
And I just had some of the pizza. It was awesome. What kind of an oven is that? That's fancy.
We have a stone Malaguti oven, and it's homemade dough and
That doesn't mean
homemade
anything to me. It sounded really fancy though, and it tasted really, really good. So if you guys are down here, come make sure you check out the pizza. What else do you guys have on the menu?
We do burgers. We have a specialty called Fairway Fries, which is the chef's secret recipe. So we always encourage people to try that. We do wings, appies, just about anything.
That is awesome. Well, thanks for hosting the Troops Trio today, and we will be back in a few weeks.
Perfect.
Back to you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you, AJ. Thank you, Jill. Yes, awesome to be out in the community, out live on location for sure. Let's get into these games between the Battalion and the Generals and the Wolves. So, like we said, a 4-2 win over the Oshawa Generals at home. That game was kind of defined by the fact that the Battalion, they took an early lead and they didn't relinquish it, built up a 2-goal lead, and just kept fending off the Generals. And that's really how you prototypically want to play at home. You want to build up that lead and make the other team work for it. And I think that, since Ryan Olahan has come here as the head coach, that really has been something that the Battalion have been able to do a lot at Boart Longyear Memorial Gardens.
You want to talk about 3 phases of the game, and so we're seeing that early on, that the offense, relentless pressure, relentless cycle, making it very difficult for the other team to even get out of their own zone. And I think about, in my mind, from a game like in Sudbury, Wellenreiter is just pure fury on the puck in these situations, playing on both sides of the puck and doing it very well. Talk about defense, pretty good result. 5 goals allowed in 2 games and 2 W's on the weekend. But I like special teams because I'm seeing a bit of that penalty kill that was rated in the top 5 in the league last year. We're getting the same urgency to get on the puck. We don't let the other team set up shop very easily, and we're getting the puck out of our zone and getting that fresh change on the penalty kill. And the power play, we did get a power play goal in Oshawa, which was good news. That was Ryder Carey getting that done, and that turned out to be the game-winning goal in that one. So I like what I'm seeing in the 3 phases of the game so far.
I think getting that lead, Matt, to address your point is really important. I mean, because the other team, especially when you're the visiting team, they have to chase the game. And hockey's hard when you have to chase the game because it affects your matchups. If you're a coach, how do you match up? You need to get the guys going to tie the game. If you're Oshawa, you got to get into the game. So you tend to put maybe more ice time for the offensive players. And if you're the Battalion in that situation and you have the lead, you get to play everybody. And everybody sort of gets into the game that way. And it just makes harder. And Oshawa was chasing the game, and they got within a goal a couple of times, but could never tie it. Couldn't get the equalizer and get things on a positive footing. So yeah, I think, and the Battalion, that's why they're so hard to play against. You want to, if you're playing the Battalion, you want to get ahead of them. You want to, force them to chase the game, and they couldn't do it, Oshawa, in the opener there. So yeah, I think that goal by Mr. Pereira was key, just to get the momentum going on the Battalion bench.
And then it was Brian Harper that scored that second goal. He's a guy you really like, Ranjan. You thought that this was a really good pickup by General Manager John Winstanley to get a guy. He's committed to Michigan University next year, but he jumps into the lineup and really takes control as being a top defensive pairing guy. And so far, it's all systems go with him. I mean, he has been the guy that they wanted in this position, and there's been no reason to think that he can't be in that position this entire season.
Yeah, so we have two defensemen. One is Kent Greer, and the other is Brant Harper. Two guys who could potentially quarterback the power play 1, power play 2. When I watch Brant Harper, I see shades of Jacob LeBlanc from last year, the last couple of years, and so a power play quarterback and also a guy with tremendous poise. And I think he'd be the first to tell you that I would be the first to tell you that he is getting himself into scoring position, sneaking in from the blue line. Now, in Sudbury, I watched him fan on a couple of shots where he had beautiful opportunities on front, but that's just getting used to the surroundings and just sort of maybe taking a minute and swallowing that excitement and just getting level-headed and getting the shot off. And it's not meant as a slight to him. He's doing really well. And the fact that he's getting himself into shooting position, those pucks are going to find him in the back of the net.
Yeah, he was one of the stars in the win against Oshawa, and you couldn't tell it was his first OHL game.
No, not at all. As we said, the other goals coming from Ryder Carey, and then Jonathan Capper-Geraitis finished things off with the empty netter. Let's move on to the Sudbury game. So as the Battalion took the lead against Oshawa and never relented, this game against Sudbury, they had to fight back. They had to overcome a 1-goal deficit 3 times before the only time they led in this game was when they scored the game-winning goal in overtime. Ryder Cowley with 2 goals, Ryder Carey with a goal, Arseny Pronin with a big goal 10 minutes into the third period. I mean, this, as good as the Oshawa game was, this one felt a little more like let's show them what we can do type of game, because that's a hard barn to play in, especially when Sudbury jumps out to a lead, especially when it's their home opener as well, and you're already coming off a hard-fought victory against the Generals. Bob, you mentioned this off air, that this was a game that they could have just said, it's a Friday night, we've already got 2 points this weekend, they're taking it to us, we could have just packed it in. But this team didn't do that at all. No,
they didn't. They got better, I thought, as the game moved along. Yeah. I think Sudbury came at them early, and you didn't know where the game was headed. And but yeah, they got better as the game went along. And from the third period on, I think they were the better team. And I've traveled those buses, and although it's a short bus ride back to North Bay from Sudbury, those road wins, especially early in the year, they feel pretty good. Yeah, they feel pretty good. And not that the home wins don't, but there's something special, especially it's at a place where, the other team likes to ramp it up a little against you, and in terms of the fans and so forth. So, yeah, that was a fun game to watch, and I'm sure the boys had a great ride home.
And Ranjan mentioned when we were doing an interview off air about the Ryder Cowley goal, that might stand up as being, I know it's only 2 games in, but that might be one of the better goals scored all season, where he goes end to end, dumps it off the end boards, and then scores off his own dump in while being defended by 2 defenders. I mean, just an amazing highlight reel type goal.
Yeah, so that was that speaks to the talent, the skill on this team. And so what you have is the crowd was not the usual boisterous, intimidating Sudbury crowd, because I think what they saw early was that North Bay was bringing it, and the relentless cycle, the attack was just too much for this version of the Sudbury Wolves to handle. And the crowd was quiet. Now, when they scored, they erupted and the lights went out and all that. The wolf came out and it was all very aggravating. But then right away, the very next shift, North Bay went back to work and took it to the Wolves. And so it just seemed like Sudbury understands that this North Bay team is a good team and that Sudbury is now on the way down. They're a little bit toothless compared to the bullies that they were the last 2 years with Tejon Street, Kotchadelic, Jabril Toure. They were kind of pushing us around, and of course they injured Dom DiVincentis.
Yes.
They ran him, and so that's changed. And I think what you saw, Ryder Cali was an example of it, was that we were taking it to them, even though we were facing a little bit of adversity, trying to come from behind, which is always a good thing. See how your team responds to adversity. But we did respond. We did get that winner in overtime where they didn't even touch the puck. For 2 shifts. We just dominated, controlled, and then put it in the net.
And again, that game-winning goal coming from Ryder Cali, only 1 minute and 12 into the overtime period. All right, again, we want to thank our show sponsors, SI Tickets and Happy Dad Beverages, for bringing you this show, as well as our community sponsors, the City of North Bay, the Fox and Fiddle, the Boat North Bay, the Moose Cookhouse, and the Clubhouse at Gateway Golf, where we are here today. And we want to bring on our special guest for today's episode. It is Money Mike, the goaltender of the North Bay Battalion, Mike McIvor. Mike, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Let's start off with the Anaheim Ducks camp. How was that experience? Your second year going there. What'd you take away from that?
Yeah, obviously I learned a lot, and I'm pretty fortunate with the opportunity they gave me there. Obviously being at that level is really cool. The guys are a lot better, a lot fast tempo, and we get treated really well. There's lots of food around, and California is really nice as well. And yeah, I definitely learned a lot.
Did you have I'm in Anaheim, a lot of big NHL folks there, some of your teammates at the camp. Did you have sort of that moment where you go, oh my God, that guy was on TV last year and now I'm on the same ice with him?
Yeah, like Peter Mrazek, I ran into him. That was pretty cool. I remember when I was younger, looked up to him a little bit when he was with Detroit. So just seeing him on the ice and guys like Lucas Dostal, yeah, it is really cool to see those guys and knowing that you're on the same ice as them and just trying to learn as much as you can from them.
How cool is it to be out there with Procession, at least a guy who you're very familiar with, and when you're in nets, you can get to watch pro at work, and what did you notice in his game there?
Yeah, like it is really cool, being there with one of your best friends on the team. So, we definitely really bonded really well there, and just getting the opportunity to get that experience with him was really cool. He looked great at camp. It is we push each other there, and it is really cool to be there with him for sure.
Going into the season, what are some of the goals you're setting for yourself? This is now your third full year in the OHL. A lot of people know who you are now, right? You're not going to surprise anyone now. But what are some goals that you set for yourself?
Yeah, I think I just want to win this year. We have a pretty good squad returning this year. Young guys look great, so I just want to win every game I can. And I know like the stats and whatever follows along will come along with winning games. Obviously, I think we're due for a really good playoff run this year. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to winning games and doing my thing.
Let's go back a bit. Dom gets injured, and you are basically, I think, thrown into the fire in really in the middle of a playoff series, and you basically, was so good, so outstanding in that set. How did you handle that mentally? Do you have any advice for other goalies, when they have to progress a little quicker than maybe they were thinking?
Yeah. So yeah, that whole playoff run, obviously Dom was the man, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to be in the net for sure. He deserved to be there, but every day at practice, if I was backing up or like I was just staying ready and just kind of going through like mentally like I could be in his shoes as well. So I just think just always being ready is a big thing, and you're along with the team, right? So you can't be checked out during a playoff series. You have to be ready, and I just think just being ready. That's all.
So I'm a goalie guy, and I look at your equipment, and I look at your stick, look at your mask, look at your helmet, look at what's painted on it. Tell us about from head to toe what you're wearing this year.
Yeah, so I'm pretty much all Bauer. My mask, the one I'm in right now is from last year, but I got our third logo there on the front, and then I got Sarge on the side, and then just a couple North Bay logos on there. And then I'm in all Bauer, blocker, catcher, stick, pads. Been with Bauer for a while now. I don't plan on changing. And I do love my equipment. I love designing my equipment. It's pretty cool what you can do nowadays with the Bauer designer there. So I take pride on looking good on the ice.
And so you got a brand new pair of pads you got to work in?
Yeah, so I just ordered a new set not too long ago. Should be coming in the next couple weeks, so pretty excited for that. But honestly, nowadays, I like newer equipment, to be honest. Like once you work it in a little bit, they feel really good. So I'm excited to get my new gear.
Off air, we were talking about Jack Lisson's black Corey Crawford style things, and you're still going traditional white blocker, trapper.
Yeah, I've always liked the mostly white look. Never really liked like the dark, solid color pads. Always just like the white base color.
What are they doing in Anaheim? What's Dostal doing?
This year he's got a lot of orange, but same kind of idea. A lot of white. I know Peter Mrazek's there now. When he was with the Leafs, he had like all blue set up. So I don't know what he's doing this year for his gear, but we'll see.
Growing up, did you play out first?
Yeah.
Or like how? Because the stories are always interesting.
Yeah.
And why you chose goalie as a position?
Yeah, my story is pretty crazy. So always been a forward. So it was the first year AAA was open, and at the time there wasn't a lot of AAA centers available. So I played for the Percy Bulldogs House League all the way up, but I have an older brother that played hockey, so I'd always play 2 years up. So I was all right forward, and then I ended up trying for the Clarington Toros in novice, and Jacob Tarian was also on that team at the time. So I was still forward, tried out for Clarington Toros. I was the last cut, and then I went to Central Ontario Wolves and made that team as a forward. And then we were pretty bad. Like we didn't win a game, didn't tie a game. So our goalie at the time kind of just lost the love for it. And then I was always like a bit defensive, I guess. And mini six, I always wanted to be goalie. Anytime I played mini six, I wanted to be goalie. So we just like agreed on he would go forward, I would go goalie. And then, I was pretty good. I was a natural. So I finished the year with like 5 games playing for Central Ontario. And then Minor Adam was when my home center, Quinny Red Devils, became a center in Minor Adam. And then I tried out there. I got cut, so I went to Peterborough for 2 years as a goalie, made that team. And then we were like a mediocre team. And then came back to Quinny my minor Pee-wee year. And then we had a good team there. And then, the rest is history.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a great story.
That's really, really cool because it's not very often that you make a position change that significant and then still end up getting drafted into the OHL. Like that's pretty crazy actually.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask though about the mask. How much input did you have in designing the goalie mask?
Yeah. So my first year with the Battalion, I've never had a custom paint job on my helmet. So Maverick Parks helped me out with the design. I kind of gave him some things I wanted on the helmet, and he kind of, did the art for me. So yeah, I got my Joker backplate. There's not really any meaning to that. I just think it just looks cool.
It does look cool.
Yeah.
We're trying to find meaning
I know.
in this thing because I saw a photograph of you in Ducks uniform from behind, and it's cool.
Why so serious, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was another thing I brought in. So the guy that paints our helmets, Gilders, I kind of brought the idea to him that I want a Joker backplate, and then that's one of the things he added, the Why So Serious from the movies and that kind of thing. So yeah, the people that are in that business are really creative and they know what they're doing for sure.
Do you at least like Batman at all, or?
Honestly, I'm more of a Marvel guy, to be honest. I am into, Marvel. I do watch a lot of
the Avengers and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know why I picked Joker, but I'm happy I did.
When you make a stop and you're down and you're covering up with the puck, I think the opposing forwards look and see the back of your helmet.
It's intimidating.
Yeah, this guy's nuts.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. All right, let's before we let you go, let's talk about the home opener, getting back into the Gardens in North Bay. What's going through your mind? You were the last one to skate out under the tank, and there was a huge ovation. What's going through your mind when that's happening?
Yeah, obviously really cool skating out from the tank and hearing the fans. It's something I'll cherish for the rest of my life. It's unbelievable feeling, and then I felt before the game I was a little too fired up. I needed to calm down a little bit, just really excited for the season to get going. But yeah, the boys played really well. Played Oshawa and young guys. Pereira getting his first goal. That was a really cool moment as well. And I felt pretty calm. Oshawa didn't have too many grade A's, so that's always good. And yeah, the boys played really well in front of me.
The importance of yourself and Jack Lisson, Charlie LaRock, working together. They help you by getting in games, right? So you get your rest, and you help them by maybe provide the experience that you've picked up over a couple of years. Talk about the group of the three of you and how you work together.
Yeah, I get along with Jack and Chucky really well. I think all three of us do. They are both really good goalies, and I think practices can get pretty competitive, which is what you want out of your goalies. Both of them work really hard. They push me, I push them, and regardless of who's playing on a certain night, we all support each other, and it's a really good relationship.
Have you fixed the end boards? I've played a few hundred games at Memorial Gardens. The kick plate behind the net. I have a solid 737 save percentage. I think in my time in the
No one's
Gardens.
counting though.
No one's counting. But round up to 737. But around the league, are there different actions on the kick plate behind the net? And is North Bay really, it just looks insane the way the puck comes off of that.
Yeah. Our coach, Uli, he talks about how active our boards are, and you guys saw Ryder Callie's goal in Sudbury. We'll try and draw up plays like that where you saw Van Sietzel and Wakely and Rome's do that a lot. They would bank it off to end boards. So, for me, having bouncy at end boards doesn't really play too much into my how I approach things. Other rinks, so Peterborough and Ottawa, they're really square. Yeah. So you can't really get a good read on rims and dumping. So when we go there, I'll try and stay on my net as much as I can, just because you never know. But yeah.
All right, Mike. Well, we thank you so much for joining us. Looking forward to you playing against Ottawa or Kingston this weekend, and good luck out there.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, that's Mike McIvor, North Bay Battalion goaltender. We want to thank SI Tickets and Happy Dad Beverages for sponsoring the show, as well as our community partners, the City of North Bay, the Fox Fiddle, the Boat North Bay, the Moose Cookhouse, and the Clubhouse at Gateway Golf. All right, it's going to be time for AJ's Fan Voice. This is when we bring AJ the DJ onto the set and ask him a little bit about everything that's going on around North Bay Battalion and the community. AJ, welcome to the
Gentlemen, how's it going?
Great.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Big
awesome.
shoes to
get
fill.
it?
Mike McIvor was sitting there just a minute
I'm
ago.
never gonna fill those shoes, that's for sure.
Did you get any swings in?
Swings? What's golf?
Let's go.
Honestly, you know what?
Golf's my life.
You don't have an off season, do you?
I've never played golf in my life.
Really?
Well, it's time
Yeah.
to start.
I'm not embarrassing myself.
After the show, we'll get you on there.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm pumped for that.
I want to
But this
see
is a
that.
great place, though. Hey, this is a great place.
Bobby
Did
Scheffler,
you guys try the pizza?
Bobby Scheffler has never invited you out for golf.
No, nobody invites me out to golf.
We did try the pizza. I had to fight off Nolan Laird and Mike McIvor for the last 2 slices. A1 pizza. I'm looking right at the pizza oven right there. It's like one of those Napoli type of Italian-inspired ovens over there. I can see the fire.
In my interview with Jill, she actually explained to me what it was, and I was looking at her with like 4 eyes, like, sounds good. Yeah, okay.
It is good. It's a good
I know
thing.
Steve Battani would know exactly what model that is,
Yeah.
so, but for me, not so much. But hey, you know what, guys? This weekend, busy weekend for us. Friday night, Ottawa 67s are in town. It's Capital Center night, and a lucky fan is going to win tickets to see Howie Mandel the next night.
Amazing.
Yeah, pretty good. We also got tickets to give away for the James Barker Band and a few other shows that are coming up. We even have a guest anthem singer, so I can't let out right now who it is, but tomorrow or Friday, sort of when the game is, because that's what to remember. It's Friday. It's not Thursday this week. It's Friday, and we got to drill that into people that. If they go to the ring Thursday, they might be seeing
be
figure skating or something.
Might see Ranjan in
It won't be.
net.
Yeah, it won't be
Seventh
Battalion
day,
hockey.
seventh day.
And then on Sunday afternoon, it's the Wolves Den Tim Hortons Day as we take on the Kingston Frontenacs. That's a 2 p.m. start. And it's also our first Battalion McDonald's Kids Club of the season. And this is actually a really cool program for kids to actually join. It's only $15. And there's so much stuff that Owen has going with them. They get skates, they get different prizes every game. So their kids sign up in the North Concourse. That'll be this Sunday at 2 o'clock. So as you see, guys, very, very busy weekend ahead.
Yeah, both my kids were part of the kids club last year. I think the coolest giveaway they got was the replica Central Division Championship banners, because then they could go down and get those banners autographed.
Exactly, and they get to meet. You know, they go for
Yeah.
skates all the time.
Yeah.
They get to meet Sarge. It's honestly for $15. It's amazing what they actually get out of it. So.
Yeah. And how do you know how people have a chance to win Capital Center tickets?
It's going to be
Friday game?
an on ice competition.
Okay.
We're not going to let the cat out of the bag yet, but
Okay.
it's going to be something different, something we've never done before, and
Interesting.
we're looking forward to it.
Okay, that's excellent. All right, AJ, thanks so much for letting us know what's going
Thanks,
on
guys.
with the North Bay Battalion and the community. Once again, we want to thank our sponsors, SI Tickets and Happy Dad Beverages, for sponsoring the show. All right, coming up, as AJ said, we've got the Ottawa 67s and the Kingston Frontenacs on tap for the North Bay Battalion this weekend. And Bob, you had a chance to catch up with assistant coach of the Ottawa 67s, Norm Miley, and you had
Norm Millie.
What did I say?
You said Miley.
Norm Millie, thank
Miley
you.
Cyrus.
That's a different assistant coach. So you had a chance to catch up to him, and you know you guys touched on some of the things about the 67s, including what he feels is how the team has played so far this season.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, Norm Millie played with Sudbury in the OHL, had a couple of 100-point seasons, a couple of 50-goal seasons, drafted by Buffalo, and he's been an assistant coach with Dave Cameron for about 7 years. And the first thing we asked him, his own team, the 67s, what's he think about his own club this year? Let's hear some of that.
All right, producer Gerald, hit clip 1.
heading into week 2, we're a real young group, very similar to you guys. We had our full troop back, our whole group. Our older guys that were away to NHL camps were back already, so we had our full roster. But it was good. We got a real young group. We like our energy. We like our compete level. We like our skill. And now it's just time to continue to focus in on our details of our game.
About the 67s this season.
Well, I think they're a little younger this year. They got rid of some veterans, and he likes the start. They won their first game over Kingston, 6-2. Loves the first start they had. They played really well. A younger team. They have everyone back. They're pretty healthy. No guys are away at camps. So things start to pick up this week with obviously the Battalion game is their next game on Friday night in North Bay. And then they play one more, I think, on the weekend as well in Oshawa, I think, on Sunday. So early, but a bit younger, and they want to be the hardest working team in the league.
And like you said, they are coming into the Gardens, and he had something to say about actually playing at Bort Longyear Memorial Gardens. Gerald, producer Gerald, can we get clip 2, please?
It's a great atmosphere. It's a small town. Like when I played in Sudbury, it's a small town that loves their sports, loves to support their local the teams, and you just get that feel and that vibe. And every time we go back to those northern places, Sudbury, North Bay, Sault Ste. Marie, for me personally, it brings back a lot of great memories and a lot of the rivalries we had there.
And I mean, they're pretty familiar with this building by this point, aren't they?
Yeah, there were some meaningful games between these two franchises over the past few years, and although a lot of the veteran talent in Ottawa has moved on, like Pinelli and Stonehouse and the like, they are very familiar with this building and the crowd, and it is an intimidating place to play, especially in the playoffs. I think that Ottawa likes the energy they're bringing. In many ways, they're very much like North Bay. A lot of good potential in the young ranks coming through, and it's just a matter of finding consistency in a long season, the ups and downs, and how those young players adapt to it.
Yeah, and he touched on that, didn't he? About their youth movement, about North Bay's youth movement. Why don't we hear that clip first? Producer Joe, can you play clip 4 for us, please?
Their young guys are real good, and the one thing I like about the young guys there is they compete. They're not just one-sided. They're not just offensive players. They compete. They battle. I know, when we played there in preseason, some of the young guys, behind the scene, just little taps to the back of the leg. So they're involved. They compete, and we're gonna have to bring that if we want to, give ourselves a chance after 60 minutes.
So yeah, they as you guys were saying, they've lost some of that veteran talent. North Bay has too, but again, we've talked about how deep North Bay really feels, even though they are young. I think a lot of their young guys come in with some pedigree. How does he feel about that matchup between Ottawa's young guys and North Bay's young guys?
Well, he's very complimentary of North Bay's young players. Like you say, pedigree, you got a kid like Parker Vaughn who's into his second year. They're going to have to be challenged with him. And he knows also the veterans that they've got coming back, Amadovsky, Procession, etc. So, they know it's always a tough place. And there is a rivalry. We shouldn't forget that. These teams have played each other. It's sort of like a divisional rivalry.
Yeah.
This year they only played 4 times, but the last couple of years they played 6 times, and they've also met in the playoffs. So there is a rivalry. And they are, like Ranjan says, they're very similar. They're very similar in terms of the culture. They're both well coached. You got the national junior team coach. You got another national club coach in Ryan Olahan. So, it's a good matchup for both teams. It's a good barometer this early in the season.
Yeah, they've met in the playoffs recently, and North Bay, in a way, knocked them out of the playoffs last year because they clinched the 8th and final seed, whereas the Ottawa 67s missed the playoffs entirely, and that was a really fun battle to watch as the season went on. All right, you mentioned him, Ryan Olahan. Norm Milley had some very nice things to say about Ryan Olahan and the way he has coached this team. Producer Gerald, can we get clip 3, please?
North Bay, they're a well-coached team. They're well-structured. I like the way they play. Since Ryan's come over there, I like the way they play as a team, and they're very structured. So we know the way they're going to play. We know we have to play 60 minutes. We know we're going to have to be detailed. I know it's real early in the year, and so we can't expect to be 100% on our details, but we know we're going to have to compete if we want to give ourselves a chance to come out of there with 2 points.
Some nice complimentary words about Ryan Olahan there.
And I don't think he was just pumping up Ryan Olahan's tires.
No.
I think the secret is out. And we talk about what we've seen in the first couple of games of the regular season and the preseason, and then what we saw in that playoff series against Brantford and the lead up, really, the metamorphosis of this team into what could be a contender in the not too distant future. The word is out, and every other team knows what North Bay brings, and that's relentless work ethic. And I think Coach Olahan demands that from his players, and he's getting it. So when you hear a guy like Norm Milley, who has been in this league as a successful player and as a successful member of the coaching staff, when he says such nice things about the Battalion, it's not just blowing smoke. It's real. And every team in the league is starting to know that North Bay is going to be a tough out on their schedule. They probably don't look forward to coming to Memorial Gardens.
Absolutely. And again, those two teams will play at Bower Longyear Memorial Gardens on Friday. The 2-0 North Bay Battalion taking on the 1-0 Ottawa 67s. Anything else on that matchup before we move on? Or
Just that it's always interesting, and we talked about it earlier. The team that scores first has a big edge in that game because both teams are really sound defensively, played 200-foot games, and so getting that first goal, forcing the other team to chase the game will be key.
absolutely. And then the Battalion will be back on the ice on Sunday at home. They will host the Kingston Frontenacs. First matchup this season between these two clubs. Kingston is 1-1 after the first weekend of the year, and Bobby had a chance to catch up with their defenseman Van Williamson. Let's listen to that interview now. This is Bob Coles with Van Williamson.
Okay, Van Williamson of the Kingston Frontenacs. Van, I was checking your stats, and you've been in Kingston your whole OHL career. That's pretty rare. I mean, what's it been like for you playing in the same market for your career?
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. I mean, it's technically my 4th year here, and I've loved every minute of it. And it's been a spot that I've always, since I've been a part of it, I always wanted to be here. So it's been great.
What's been the highlight for you so far?
I think last season we were 1 game away from the conference final and going in the playoffs, gaining that good experience with, an older group of guys and going to use, what I learned from last year from those older guys to help lead this team. And I think it just, everyone wants to win. And I think that was the most, best experience I've had so far is getting that far and being, that 1 game away from the finals.
Right. Early start to the season. You guys went 1-1. Is everybody back from camp, or are you still waiting on people?
We just about everyone. We're still waiting on Mondu and Battaglia. So we got one. We're waiting for 1D and obviously Battaglia coming back here. He'll be back for the weekend.
And how did things go, do you think, for your team in the first week?
I think the first game Friday on our home opener, I think, we had a lot of new guys and in their first game and a little bit of first game jitters, I think, there. And I think when we went into Oshawa Sunday, we were more prepared going into the game. And I think that showed. I think we, played a much better game, like systematically. And I think, we obviously came out on top, but I think it was huge to build off and get that first win of the year for sure. I think a 1-1 weekend to start is, we'll take that with some guys missing.
Now, you play a couple of northern teams this week. You got the Sioux Friday, and of course you come here on Sunday afternoon. What are your thoughts of playing at Boart Longyear Memorial Gardens?
Yeah, I mean, I love playing in North Bay. It's a good spot for sure. Like, I think North Bay, from what I know, is going to be a good team this year. So I think it's going to be a good game there Sunday.
And a good rivalry, right, between the two teams.
Yeah, for sure. The first few years, we played them in the playoffs, and obviously didn't go too well for us. But that's all right. This year we'll be looking to take them down.
And what are the goals this year? I mean, everyone wants to, like you say, get as deep as you can. How are things looking for your boys this year?
Yeah, for sure. I think again this year we got another really good team. I mean, we got some younger guys, but I think we have a lot of guys here that are going to step up and have big seasons. So I think, again, like you said, everyone wants to, go on a deep run in the playoffs. And I think at the end of the day, that's what we want here. And we want to get back to where we were last year and get further. So I think by doing that, just learning, we're learning a lot of new things early on here, like systems. And I think just coming to the rink every day and enjoying the process, getting better, will get us there.
And the Battalion, what kind of opposition do they provide for you?
Yeah, I think, the Battalion, I think they play a hard style of hockey over there. And they're a challenging team, to play against. And yeah.
Okay. I guess one thing you look forward to when you come North Bay is the après specials from Steve Batonte here in the building after the game, right?
Yeah, I think our team for us, I think when we think about like food on the road, I think North Bay is like the first spot that pops up for me and a lot of the guys. So we always enjoy the meals after the game.
Okay, thanks for this, Van, and we'll see you Sunday.
Okay, thank you. Take care.
Well, I think that's half the reason why these teams come to North Bay is they look forward to the meal after the game. The coaches don't say, if you get a win, you get to eat Batonte's food tonight, but I think they do it anyway. But it's got a great reputation around the league. Great
Absolutely.
food. Even the Battalion, when they go on a there and back, their pregame meal used to be on the road. It's now in the garden. So
Exactly.
Great shout out to Steve Batonte and his food.
All right, so the Frontenacs will be here on Sunday. A good matchup for the North Bay Battalion. Ranjan, as the Frontenacs come in as a team that's looking to do a little bit more this year. Any early read on how they might do?
The early read is that they've lost a lot of veteran talent. Matthew Soto traded to Peterborough. Mason Vicari, their starting goaltender last year, has moved on to another team. So they start out with a tough 6-2 loss to the same Ottawa 67s who are coming here. So North Bay's got to be aware that Ottawa, not just a 2-1, 3-2 kind of team. They have strength down the middle. They can score. But Kingston, it's going to be about goaltending and whether Gavin Betts can take the next level, move to the next level. We all expect that he's going to be a good goalie in this league. But whether he can lead this team from between the pipes is going to be, we're going to see that on Sunday afternoon.
All right, well, that's going to wrap things up for us here. Oh, sorry,
Just
yes.
one more comment.
Bob wanted to mention
It's been a
something,
sad
yes.
couple of weeks in hockey with the passing of two legends, Ken Dryden a couple of weeks ago, the great career he had, 6 Stanley Cups, 1972, and of course, Bernie Perrant, back-to-back cups with my Philadelphia Flyers. So it's been a tough couple of weeks for two legends who have passed away recently.
And as a goaltender yourself, Ranjan, I'm sure you've watched these guys, rewatched highlights of these guys, and are just in awe of what they were able to do during their careers.
So as a kid growing up in the 70s, those were guys who, along with Mike Palmateer, were very influential on me. And if you want to talk about goalie mask, I know Mike McIvor is probably a little bit before his time, but Ken Dryden's mask was iconic, and Bernie Perrant is probably, even though it's so simple and plain, it's one of my favorites.
All right, thanks so much for mentioning that, Bob. Really, really appreciate it. All right, and we want to thank you so much for tuning in for this week's episode of Troops Trio. We want to thank SI Tickets and Happy Dad Beverages for bringing you this show, as well as our community sponsors, the City of North Bay, the Fox and Fiddle, the Boat North Bay, the Moose Cookhouse, and the Clubhouse at Gateway Golf, who have been wonderful hosts for us tonight. Thank you so much to Jill and the crew here. Make sure you check out the Battalion social media channels to find out where Troops Trio will be next. We know where we're going to be next. We're going to be at the Fox and Fiddle next week, so come on out and say hi. And don't forget to send your comments and questions to troopstrio@battalionhockey.com. We want to thank our camera operators, Cassidy and Jacob, Caden for shooting behind-the-scenes footage, our show coordinator, Owen, our producer, Gerald, and our executive producer, Steve Batonte, and once again, our host at Gateway Golf. For Ranjan, Rupal, and Bob Coles, I'm Matthew Sookram, and this has been Troops Trio.